Okay, let's dive into a really powerful piece of wisdom from Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. We're looking at Law 47, and this is a fascinating one because it's not really about how to get the win, it's about the much trickier art of what to do after you've won.
So, I want to start by asking you a question. And the answer, well, it might surprise you. When do you think you're in the most danger? Is it when you're up against some huge, powerful enemy? Or maybe when you're just starting out, with barely any resources? According to this law, it's neither of those.
That's right. The very moment you succeed, that's often when you're at your most vulnerable. It's when you feel on top of the world, when that adrenaline is just pumping through your veins, that you are the most likely to make a huge, fatal mistake. It's a total paradox, but it's one you've got to understand.
So let's really dig into this first big idea, the danger that's hiding inside of every victory, and the powerful, sometimes blinding emotions that come right along with it. I love how this quote frames victory. It's not the finish line. It's a critical decision point. See, Greene is warning us that arrogance and overconfidence, those become your new enemies. They just cloud your judgment, they push you way past the target you originally set, and you end up creating a whole new set of problems. The key, he says, is in the planning. You have to set a very specific goal, and the second you get there, you stop.
So what happens when you completely ignore this law? Well, to see that in action, let's look at a cautionary tale about one of the greatest conquerors in all of history. This is what Greene calls a perfect transgression of the law.
All right, let's follow the journey of Cyrus the Great. This guy was a strategic genius. He built the massive Persian Empire, defeating ridiculously powerful kingdoms like Lydia and Babylon. But after all these incredible, calculated wins, he set a new target, the nomadic Massagetae, a tribe led by the fierce Queen Tamaris. And it was right here, at the absolute peak of his power, that he made one single fatal miscalculation.
So here's where it gets interesting. Cyrus scores this big tactical win. He sets a clever trap, leaving behind a camp filled with wine. The queen's army, who weren't familiar with alcohol, got drunk and were easily captured. He even had the queen's son as a prisoner. The reasonable goal was met, right? But he was so consumed by the emotion of it all, by this arrogant desire to just completely crush his opponent, that he ignored the queen's warnings and went way too far.
And the fallout. Well, it was brutal. Queen Tamiris was enraged that her son had been captured and then took his own life. She led her army into a furious battle. They completely annihilated the Persian forces, and Cyrus the Great himself was killed. Legend has it, the queen found his body and made good on her promise, plunging his head into a pouch filled with human blood.
And that's the key takeaway, isn't it? His downfall wasn't a lack of skill or power, not at all. It was a complete failure of strategy. He let the heat of the moment, that rush of victory, just totally overwhelm his reason. He pushed right past the finish line he should have stopped at and paid the ultimate price for it.
Okay, so that's what not to do. Now, for a complete 180, let's contrast Cyrus's epic failure with an example of pure strategic genius from the French court. This is a story about someone who understood exactly when to stop.
Enter Madame de Pompadour. Now, she was in a very tricky position. All of her power, her influence, it all came from being the king's official mistress. But she was smart. She knew that physical beauty and sexual allure, well, those are temporary things. As she got older and her health started to decline, she realized she couldn't keep fighting and winning the same old battle forever. So what did she do? Did she fight a losing battle against time? Nope. She did something brilliant. She stopped. And she pivoted. She totally transformed the very foundation of her power. She gave up on the goal of being the king's lover and set a new, much more durable one, to become his indispensable friend and advisor. And this is just masterful. Look at how she played this perfectly. She never once tried to get her old job back. Instead, she made herself essential to the king's emotional life, becoming his most trusted advisor. And get this, she even encouraged him to take other lovers. By doing that, she removed herself as a rival and cemented her new role. And the result? She stayed the most powerful woman in France for almost 20 years, right up until her death. So what's the ultimate lesson we can pull from these two incredibly dramatic stories? We have an empire builder who lost everything and a courtier who managed to secure everything. I mean, this table just lays it all out so clearly, doesn't it? Cyrus, driven by pure emotion and arrogance in his victory, pushed too far and met a disastrous end.
Pompadour, on the other hand, used reason and strategy. She recognized her particular victory had a time limit, so she stopped, she changed the game, and she achieved real, lasting power.
And this gets right to the core of the law. Think about it. When things are going badly for us, we tend to be cautious, we're realistic, we're strategic because we have to be. But success is intoxicating. It can make you emotional, overconfident, and totally blind to the new dangers you create by going too far.
And that really leaves us with a final thought to mull over. For whatever you're trying to achieve, it's so easy to focus on just how to win. But true mastery, real strategic genius, lies in knowing the precise moment your goal has been reached. So you have to ask yourself, do you just know how to win? Or more importantly, have you defined exactly where you need to stop?